big part of design thinking is mapping out your ecosystem, deciding on who's part of your design team so that you don't have to feel like a lone wolf in this process. I wasn't a lone wolf, even though I was traveling alone. Hi, I'm Kalima Fergus Ayele. I'm CEO and founder of Round Trip Ticket Home, where we support schools and school leadership teams with design thinking tools to build communities of connection and belonging. We use design thinking because it's a human-centered approach to problem solving, identifying the needs and then figuring out through experimentation and prototyping how to move forward toward what we truly desire. I apply those same tools to my own life journey, and I hope you will too. Right now I'm talking about how I bought a ticket called the Round Trip Ticket Around the Planet, and I had already decided on the countries that I wanted to visit: India, Vietnam, Japan, and I also was able to add in Singapore. Madrid ended up being a stopover as part of the ticket process. I had to think about how I was building my community along the way. It's interesting because right around my planning for this, Tracy Ellis had come out with her series on solo traveling. I'm a huge fan of Tracy Ellis's work, but I don't consider myself a solo traveler. Even though I was traveling alone, I was always going to connect with people who I wanted to connect with wherever I went. With the exception of Madrid, I had friends or family that I was connecting with in each country, or in the case of Singapore, I was there for a job fair. As an international school leader, it's very common to attend job fairs in different countries. They actually take place in different countries over the course of the recruiting season. And so in Singapore, I attended the leadership job fairs. My friends that I was going to visit and reconnect with were fellow international school educators. We had all worked together in Cairo, Egypt. It feels like such a wonderful gift to have people around the world where you can find a place that feels like home. And I know that's not accessible to everyone, but nowadays with Airbnb or other avenues for traveling, there's also something that I came across called house sitting, where people who are traveling, you can stay at their home and care for their pets while they're away. And so there are all these ways that I don't think we are aware of where you have an opportunity to really, if you're up for it, be adventurous, stay in a place that you may never have thought to stay, and really experience a different version of life and maybe try something on. And as I shared in my previous video, even from a financial standpoint, it might make sense to think outside the box. Think about maybe doing some house sitting internationally and give yourself an opportunity to travel to a new place. In my specific case, I couldn't afford not to do it. And I was able to enjoy traveling. I was able to connect with friends who live in other parts of the world. And it really, in the end, was such a gift. When I think about that idea of when you're doing something that's different from the people around you, it can feel a little isolating because you've got this idea for doing something that the people that you know haven't done before. You might have to work a little bit harder in those cases to find someone else who is on a similar journey. That's one of the reasons why I am grateful for the internet, because it does mean that you have an opportunity to connect with people who might have done something similar. And I know there are so many places and spaces where people are willing to offer advice. Think about, in terms of traveling, how many websites exist where you have people giving reviews or giving feedback or answering questions. So I encourage you to use those as a starting point, but also just find your people. Find people who are equally adventurous and also curious about trying something different, and stay connected. Keep each other motivated. And those fears will creep up, especially because you might have people who you are close to who, as much as they love you, they're also worried about what you're doing because they haven't done it before. And they might project their fears onto you. Wonderful to find that supportive community so you don't feel like you're alone in the journey. I don't know if there are any other questions that you might have, but if you do, please keep them coming. Leave me a question. You can message me privately or you can leave a comment. But I really do want to answer some of those questions. In the next couple videos, I'll start talking in a little bit more detail about my experience in each country. And if you want to know more about something that I've shared, for example, some folks might be curious about what exactly happened when I went to get my India visa. So if that's something that you're curious about, I'm happy to share. Thank you for joining me in this video and along with this journey, and I'll see you next time. Bye.